This is another edition of So You Think You Can Squat. That was the most he had ever squatted, and all we really did was fix his technique at the top. Most he'd ever done was below 400. That's a Mastodon bar, so it's a 65-pound bar. He just did 425. A little sloppy, but still fairly strong. So just with small technical fixes, we've already bumped the squat up 40, 50 pounds. And we're talking, which is a big accomplishment, we're talking raw. No belt, no briefs, no bullshit, just flat out strength. So just by fixing some small stuff, we've already put 40 pounds on a squat in about 25 minutes. Okay, now we're getting up to around 9 or 10. We should start seeing some pretty big breaks in form, possibly a failure set. As you can still see, we have the chain set up in there, the catcher chains. He goes a ½ inch the wrong way, the weight's catched, and he still has spotters as well. So this is the only really safe way to actually take squats to a max. Watch that close. There you go.
Let's go now. Settle up.
Good. Lock it in. Take your time. Keep your head up now.
Get up there. Good.
Back it. So we're at almost 95, close to 100%. We might have another 10 or 20 pounds in us. We stopped there. As we saw in the form, is knees shot forward, knees went in, back started to slouch, back still stayed up kind of straight, but things started to fall forward pretty bad, and the strain was about 100%. So we saw the shins coming forward, we saw this and this, we saw all these things happening, which is telling us quad dominance, hip weakness, and a weak core. So we'll stop there. We've got the information that we need in order to make him better, and we've only really reinforced 1 or 2 bad technical squats in an entire max effort training. So now that we know what muscles we need, we can go attack those with accessory work. Try to hold your form best you can, buddy.
Let's go now. Set up strong. Let's go. Your head back in the bar. Crank your elbows down. Keep your upper back tight. Let's go. Stay tight.
Yep, there you go. Good. So, where did we fail? We failed at the upper back. Everything in the bottom caved in like we talked about. Knees came forward, knees came in. But what made him not be able to stand up was from here all the way up here. All of this is what made him fail. He fell forward over it. The weights caught him, and we call it a handcuff, but basically it's a leverage point in which there's no standing up front. If he could stay like this, he would have a fighting chance. Just drive up with it. But because the chest falls, everything else falls with it. So we saw where he breaks. We got to build some muscle in here. We got to get these upper erectors really, really strong. So how are we going to do that? Well, there's a lot of ways we can do it. One of my favorite is the seated safety bar good morning. Now the seated safety bar good morning puts a lot of pressure right here, but it builds all these muscles in here to make sure that we hold a good, proper position when we squat. So the seated safety bar good morning does a couple of things. 1, it's seated. So you take away all your leg drive and all your hamstring activation. 2, it's on a safety bar, so it's pulling you forward like you don't want to go and making the muscles grow where you need them to grow. So with that being said, we're going to show the seated safety bar good mornings. We're just going to use a bar, and I'm going to show you how you build them up. Now obviously when we do this, we're going to break form. We're actually going to do a spine good morning versus what I would consider a hip good morning. So we're actually going to round over the back and straighten it up, because this is where we're failing, so this is what we need to build. Okay? All right. Now we're in a squat position. So what we're wanting to do is build this muscle up here. So what I'm going to have him do is drop his head and round his back here like terrible form. Now he's going to straighten his head up and straighten all this back out. Good. Now another way that you can make sure you're not getting a lot of leg drive is to put your legs in front of you. So instead of having your legs in a squat position, he's going to put them up front and put his toes up by there. Now he's going to do the same thing. Round over and bend all here and straighten it up. Takes away all leg and hip activation. It's all back. This will make your back strong, not only for squats, but for deadlifting as well. Rep ranges on the seated safety bar good morning work very, very well in between 8 and 15 reps, or sometimes even 45-second sets. Reason being is we're trying to build muscle. So this is not a great exercise for max effort. Not to say that we haven't ever done it, but it usually works better to develop a lot of volume and muscle mass. And to do that, you need quite a bit amount of time under tension in order to build muscle. You're not going to build muscle with a 1 rep max. We fix the upper back with the safety bar seated good mornings, which is one variation of many that we can fix for the upper back. The next variation, which is also an awesome one, is the reverse hyperextension, but this is going to target a little bit more the lumbar spine and the tailbone. Now, at the very bottom of the box, if you watch this video over again of him squatting, you're going to see his ass disappear under his back, which shifts everything forward. The only way to get this strong is by doing good mornings, heavy front squats. You can utilize some of that. You can utilize reverse hypers, back extensions. List goes on and on. Check EFS for their exercise database. But this is a second to none exercise, and there's only one reason for it. You're developing these muscles when you utilize this without causing any vertical spine compression. Everything else that we try to do today, we're going to try to utilize spinal decompression. So now he's going to show you how to do these reverse hypers, and what we're going to show you is there's been a lot of changes in how people do them. Single-legged, no tempo, but what we want to see is we want to see a slow 3 seconds up, 3 seconds down tempo. I utilize a lot for myself and my clients. The reason being is a 3 second up, 3 seconds tempo takes away all the stretch reflex and makes you have to muscle the weight the entire time, just like you would need to support yourself in a squat. Your squat's not going to be bang bang and done. It's going to be tight and held tight for a period of time. So your training has to elicit that, or it's not going to work. Good. He's using a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Trying to squeeze his lower back and his ass and take away the hamstring activation. We're trying to isolate this area right here, so when he gets to the bottom of his squat, his ass is sticking out versus flattening over. The only way to do that is to develop these muscles right here. If you want to be strong, no matter what you do, you want muscle right here.